pilot. We believe this is all consistent with him intentionally decompressurizing the cockpit and taking his own life. Dr. Charles Garin Hargon, known in the Shreveport area as Dr. Chad Hargon, met with Cecilia Mouton approximately 4 p.m. on July 12, 2017. Again, this is the best information we can find out from the family. He took his own life less than 24 hours later, about 7:45 a.m. on the morning of July 13, 2017.
But I can tell you this, as a husband who lost his wife, I know the kind of person and doctor that he was. We are not as good today in the medical field in Shreveport, Louisiana, when it comes to the field of oncology, as we were prior to his loss. Great man. This is a good bill. It does not create accusations toward the Louisiana Medical Association, the board itself. It simply says that because of the stress that doctors find themselves under, oftentimes they need the support of their colleagues and need the support of the organizations. And sit here today in your presence telling you this is a good bill, again, without knowing any more than I shared with you. I know nothing about the visit that he had with the board, but I can tell you this, something snapped. And it was too great for him to endure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My name is Dr. Greg Stevens. I was recruited to come to Louisiana by Dr. Paul Ware to be basically a Katrina doctor because they needed help. And so I came down here and applied for a license. When I did, I explained to them that I was on a pain management contract. And so they had me meet with board member Linda Gage White. She approved my license knowing that, but they made me go to a doctor of their choice, which I did. For 8 years, I didn't have any problem until someone who got arrested and blamed that on me filed a complaint with the board. The problem I had was I never got a chance to respond to that until after things happened to me that permanently stained my record. And I wanted to explain to them, which they didn't know at the time, that this person was arrested for 6 counts of drug dealing, and it was a serious matter. And when I tried to call and explain to them, they said, well, we've decided that this is a reliable source. And, you know, there's several cases of this where someone works for a doctor and they get arrested for some kind of drug offense, and then the doctor goes to rehab. I think that's unfortunate. We ought to at least have a chance to say, wait a minute, I shouldn't have to go, let me explain. I was never given a chance to practice after that day because they sent me a letter and said, you need to stop practicing right now or else we'll put a suspension on your record to make you. Well, you don't really have any choice. That's like an informal suspension. I wanted to argue about that or at least present my case, and I wasn't allowed to. They said, no, you go to treatment first and then come back, then we'll talk to you. And again, that puts something on your record where when you apply for a job, has a medical board ever caused you to go for psychiatric treatment? You've got to answer yes to that for the rest of your life. You ought to have a chance to say, wait a minute, this is being based on false information. They sent me to Palmetto and Rayville for evaluation, and basically the first person there that oriented me was Dr. David Hammond. And I don't know if he remembers this or not, but he had a discussion with me and he said, Greg, you need to give up and just, let this happen. And I said, but I'm not an addict. I never was. I don't even hardly drink at all. And they're reporting me like I'm an alcoholic. I need to explain this before you give me treatment for a condition I don't have and treatment I don't need. He explained me his own situation, that he was like me, he had objected like I was, and that it caused him to have to go through the process 3 times because he kept complaining that they weren't following the rules, which they weren't. He was right. But finally, at the end of this presentation he said, look, Greg, you have no rights before the Louisiana State Medical Board. They can do anything they want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then he specifically said, you have no due process. And I wish I'd had a recorder because I didn't already believe it, and I was listening to it, and he was standing in front of me.
I'm apparently famous Dr. David Hammond. It's an honor to be addressing you today. I have some prepared statements that my Board of Trustees has asked me to relay concerning this bill. Since my name has come up several times, there's a couple of things I'd like to put on the record. One is, my group is a physician advocacy group that prizes confidentiality above just about everything else. So I'm not going to answer Dr. Stevens' accusations. I'm not going to answer Dr. Stevens' implications. I am an advocate for physicians. I am an advocate for Dr. Stevens, and that's what I've always tried to be and will continue to try to be. I can tell you that the conversations that he said we had did in fact occur, but they're being taken out of context and certainly presented in a way that I do not think is accurate. However,